Welcome to Awakenings in Real Life, where we tell inspiring stories of transformation, meaning, and hope. While we typically think of an awakening as a getting up or something religious or spiritual in nature, it's also a recognition, realization, or awareness of something. We're going to share stories of people triumphing over loss, illness, addiction, trauma, bullying, near-death experience, and more. Please enjoy. This is Dan Cohen, and welcome to Awakenings in Real Life, the podcast. Today's guest is Craig Sotkovsky. How are you, Craig?
Fantastic, Dan.
Great. Let me tell the audience a little bit about you. In the journey of life, we often encounter individuals who have overcome adversity and emerged as beacons of inspiration for others. Craig Sotkovsky is one such individual whose life story is a testament to the power of resilience, self-discovery, and transformation. As a 9/11 volunteer, a lung cancer survivor, Craig's journey is marked by both challenges and remarkable success. Craig's trauma included the shame and pain of sexual abuse and addiction to narcotics. In the face of these daunting obstacles, Craig's remarkable transformation began. His journey, marked by overcoming addiction and personal trauma, showcases the extraordinary capacity of the human spirit to heal and grow. Today, Craig is a speaker and mentor who shares his story to inspire and uplift others who may be facing their own challenges and seeking their true purpose in life. So, Craig, normally my first question is, what is your awakening in real life, which I want you to answer. But we're shooting on a very profound day for you. Today is September 11th. So if you can explain a little bit what your awakening has been and why a 9/11 has significance to you, I'd appreciate it.
And I talk about the quantum field and tapping into the human Wi-Fi. And what most people don't understand is all of these outside influences that we have are mere obstacles in life. I don't call them problems.
Okay.
The only thing we can control is how we respond to things.
Right.
So life is always going to life. It's always going to come smack you upside the head. However, if you just sit and stop and look at what's coming at you can repel.
That's sort of an awakening for you.
That's my awakening.
Right.
Consistently repelling. Alchemizing everything that's ever been in my life.
So I want to go through some of the things and the trauma you went through your life. But before we do that, again, today is 9/11. Share your experience on 9/11/2001 and what happened as a result of that.
Sure. I was renovating 2 houses downtown Jersey City. Probably like 7-8 blocks from the river. I was walking out of my house and I was going to my other house, which just happened to be on the next street. And at the time, my girlfriend, who's my ex-wife, I walked out of the street and I just looked, and where we lived, it was like perfect line to see the Trade Center. I looked and it was smoking. It was like, what the hell is that? And, it was like real quick. It's like I see this, and then all of a sudden you just hear all the fire trucks, all the ambulances, all the cop cars. It's just like complete chaos. So she was a photographer at the time. So I literally ran there, next street over, just knocked on the door, pulled, it was like, grab your camera. And we walked down to the river.
Was the initial goal to
pandemonium.
The initial thought was to photograph what was happening down there?
the World Trade Center was on fire.
Right, I know. So you wanted
Right. So document. I've been
Okay.
documenting everything my whole life, pretty much.
But you
So
did more than document it.
I'm sorry?
You did more than document it down there.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
And we walked down, and it was just like, you know, you're walking with your jaws open. And I think both of them at that time were on fire. And we were just like, what is going on here? So we get down to, it wasn't Exchange Place. It was a little bit further south. Downtown Jersey City at that time, those big skyscrapers weren't there.
Okay.
And it was just like huge construction sites because they were building them. And we got down there, like I said, pandemonium, like the most craziest case. It was like a movie set. And we were just like, this is crazy. And then, boom. And the cops on the speakers, everybody's got to go. Everybody starts running.
The towers fell. That's what
The
you're
first
referring-
one.
Okay.
Okay. And my ex was just, she's got dozens and dozens in sequence. Everybody takes off from Exchange Place. And because nobody knows what's going to happen because it's the river. So you picturing like, you know, a building's falling down.
Right.
It's going to hit the river. Nobody knows what the water's going to do, all of that stuff. So we end up walking, and there's a little cutoff, probably like quarter mile, half mile down. And it goes into Liberty State Park. As we were going into Liberty State Park, we're turning around and we're looking, and now everything is just a huge cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second one drops, and she's, and it's a long walk because we're getting into the park.
Right.
We're at one end and we're going towards the water again. As we're doing this, I think maybe 45 minutes has gone by. All of a sudden, we start seeing these little boats. They're bringing people over. And they're coming off. And everybody's completely covered in white.
Right.
And it was like, now we have to back up because now the cloud is coming. And I laugh about this because it's my braking mechanism, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I have to go there. I've been in construction my whole life. I've been on every project you could think of, from single-family houses to Battleship Missouri Pier at Pearl Harbor. So everything along the way, big construction projects, little ones, didn't matter. I was like, I can go.
You could go to help. Nobody knew what was going on. You just been compelled that you have to help. And that took courage.
I can cut steel. I can run machines. Yeah, I just had to go.
Okay.
Took me, couldn't go that day. Tried to go the next day. Everything is shut off. And you're just seeing all these little boats on the Jersey City side going over to New York.
Right.
So I got on one of the boats, and it brought us to the, what is that, Battery Park? The one on
Battery Park City.
Yeah. So we go down there, and the National Guard's just like, nah, man, nobody's getting off here. And this was really profound to me because there was a baby carriage just on one of the walkways. And the thing is, I immediately thought, like, what was that person thinking? Like, grab the kid and run, you know?
Sure.
So it got me to the next day. I have to make sure it's in proper sequence.
Okay. So you finally get there, and what did you I think you said to me when we spoke earlier, 2 out of the 5 days, right? You were actually on the pile?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a little story before I get there,
Sure.
because I have my like I'm renovating the house, the two houses, right? So I got a Tyvek suit, right? One of those one, because I'm already like, you can already see it's a horror, right? It's nothing but clouds. So I got a respirator, I got my Tyvek suit, but I don't have a safety jacket, and I don't have a hard hat. So the thing was, when somebody was coming off the boat, you're hearing everybody applaud and everybody giving water and people wetting towels and, putting it on people's necks. And as I'm doing that, I'm snatching one hard, taking the guy's vest off, throwing it into the corner of the rebar, because there's huge rebar piles, because they're building a building there.
Right.
And all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, you, get over here." Put the jacket on, put the hard hat on, and I go on this boat, and I'm looking, and it's a big boat. It's like a flat. It's like a flat boat, right? And there's nothing but what are they called? Barrels, not barrels. The 5-gallon Home Depot buckets.
Yeah, buckets. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Debris coming out? Is that what it in the buckets?
I'm sorry?
Debris coming out in the buckets?
Well, I didn't know at the time.
Okay.
Because I'm like, what are all these buckets? Get to the other side. Like, all right, pick up your buckets. Pick them up. We unload them, and we're just looking. I'm like, okay, so this is the first day, second day. It would be the actual third day. Okay. And I'm just like, so I have a whole bunch of buckets in front of me, and they're like, just go that way. I can't see in front of me. I could see to the side.
Right.
So I'm walking with these buckets, and everybody's just pointing, go that way, go that way, go that way. So I go through the atrium. That was one of the scariest experiences of my life.
Really? What
Because
did you see in the atrium?
The atrium was half collapsed. Right? There's a restaurant, and you have to understand, there's nothing but debris everywhere. But you could see, like, where in the restaurant there's like plates, right? And guys are sitting there and they're smoking cigarettes and they're just like all freaked out. And that was one of the biggest things. Going off the boat, I said, listen, man, the guy's been there for a couple of days, because it happened on 9/11. So it was 9/12. So I want to say it was 9/13. I got to make sure that the numbers are correct. So I'm walking by, and it's just like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? So I'm going, and I'm looking, and I see this huge pile of, like, bags. I didn't even want to know what that was, and just kept going. So all of a sudden, it's like really dark, and then all of a sudden, it's really light. This huge picture window that's blown out. So I have to step over the knee wall to get over it. But I can't see in front of me. I can see to the side, and I know it's really ridiculous. So I get over the side, and I drop the buckets. Can't even make this up. As soon as I drop the buckets, there's an alarm that goes off, and you hear, run! Work boots and all this stuff. Wow. And there's guys just cutting. They're running, and we're running back to the river. So we're literally going to the side of the building and then back.
Wow.
Firemen, construction workers, like, just everybody's pure pandemonium. Well, what happened was the front of the building fell on my buckets. That was my introduction. And I just stood there, and, everybody's just like, what's going on? Wow. So I ended up running a Bobcat first day. Plus other things. Like, you're just moving around, like complete chaos. I leave that day, go back, and we're going, laughing, because At that time, I think it was 270,
Oh,
270 pounds. And there's like 8 or 10 guys on this boat. And the boat's going across the river like this. We get to the other side. And as we come off,
other guys are
people are
coming
giving
on.
us water.
Right.
Rubbing us down with towels, people clapping. And I'm just like, what was that? Why did I even go? Like, I've never seen anything, been involved in anything like that.
You said you were compelled to help, and you did. You obviously did. So, what I wanted to ask you was, you had some personal protection, right? Although at a certain point, you mentioned to me your respirator got clogged, right?
Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I couldn't use it.
Other people in the area, did they have respirators or Tyvek suits or just dust masks?
Not even.
Not even.
No, because most of those guys, when I got there, they were already there for a couple days. And that was one of the things going over. The guys going over, like, look, man, these guys have been there for a while. Don't be like, oh my God, you'll freak people out.
Right.
Because, I mean, you're talking about, we're standing on top of the World Trade Center. And there's groups of guys just crying. And I was with everybody. Vets, cops, firemen, just everyday guys. And I remember like, it was such pandemonium. People were actually there looking for their family members. And
a mix of emotions, but
everywhere.
You were courageous. I mean, to go down there.
Nah, stupid.
No. Courageous. So you were there, and what happened afterwards? Because we hear a lot of people that have gone through certain things as a result of being in the area, and you were literally at ground zero. So, but your experience after being on 9/11 is you developed cancer, correct?
Yeah, I never looked back.
Okay.
Right. And was really weird because me and my wife moved down to Florida, and we ended up in 2 years, I ended up having 30 doors in real estate. We just went just crazy, just buying stuff. And then we got hit with 2 hurricanes in 3 weeks, wiped out our portfolio.
Not lucky.
This is only
Craig.
2 years later.
Right.
No, actually, it was 3 years because it was September of 2004. And long story short, we ended up moving to Mexico 2009. And I've never looked back at 9/11. Now, all these people, like, you got to get in touch with lawyers and all this stuff. I'm like, for what? I was there for 2 days. Right?
What a significant 2 days.
Problem was, you only had to be there 4 hours of the first 5 days. I was there 2 days of the first 5 days. So in 2012, I had a collapsed lobe in my right lobe, my bottom lobe of my right lung. And I was wondering, I was just getting sicker and sicker. And then I realized it never got inflated. I was walking around with a collapsed lobe for 5 years until 2017 when I was diagnosed with carcinoid cancer in my right lung. And I ended up getting a bilobectomy.
What is
so they
that?
took my mid and lower lobe, my right lung out, in a 9-hour surgery. And I was one of those guys where my blood pressure dropped. I woke up screaming as they were wheeling me out, right? Going into the recovery room. But I was screaming in front, and my wife at the time, my brother was there, and at that time, I think she was 10, 11 years old. They were listening to me scream for a couple hours because they couldn't give me anything.
Right.
Because my blood pressure bottomed out. Then Again, you can't, you know, this is like, can't even make this stuff up. My recovery after the surgery, I think I told you this.
Right.
The pain med doctor tripped over the line and bent the epidural that was in my back. The lady that was cleaning my tube that was coming out of right side of my ribs, drain tube, whatever, she tripped over that, pulled it out. Then the pièce de résistance is the nurse that was cleaning my catheter popped that out halfway. Now, each one of those required immediate injections to knock me out.
Wow.
This has been my life, and I laughed through it.
More of a nervous laughter,
Eh,
right? It's a way of you deflecting
Yeah.
the pain you went through. So when you say you never looked back on 9/11, but look, you had obviously cancer from being there that day,
Well, it was one of the 69 cancers.
one of the 69 cancers. And
Yeah, that's why they knew it was directly linked to it.
what's interesting about you is that you didn't let these experiences keep you down. You turned it into a positive. And not only the 9/11 experience, but you experienced a lot of things, a lot of traumas growing up that you had to deal with. You want to briefly explain some of the things that you experienced?
Sure, I went through something that little kids shouldn't have to do. I ended up playing baseball, and I twisted my knee. This is probably a few years after what little kids shouldn't have to go through. And my spikes were brand new. So I went to take a cut with the bat. My body swung, my leg stayed, popped my knee. Ended up back then, there was no cell phones.
Right.
So we were waiting for the coach or something. There's no Ubers, none of that stuff. So I'm just in so much pain. I think it was the coach or whatever came, drove me home or whatever. I had to wait for my mom. She was working, because we were latchkey kids. All right. So I'm sitting there, and my leg is just blown up. And we ended up going to not a emergency center, but the doctor that we went to. It was local, few blocks away. Took a cab with my mom. And I was in so much pain until they gave me a pain pill. And what happened with that was the trauma that I went through as a kid. That went away as well as my knee pain. So I got addicted to pain meds real quick. And that just progressed into narcotics, cocaine. It was the 80s.
Yeah. And you experience another kind of abuse. Am I right?
As far as?
Sexual abuse?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. When I was a kid,
Right.
I got molested. And that's why when I took that first pain pill, when I had the knee problem, that mental pain went away. So it was like a two-step kind of thing. Got rid of the pain in my knee and got rid of the mental pain. So I liked that a lot.
It masked the mental pain.
Absolutely. It just created more pain later on.
But you're,
That's all drugs do.
yeah, so you went through a lot, obviously, in your life. But your awakening, if I can paraphrase, is really your resilience and your ability to transform yourself in what you are today. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I've been able to alchemize everything.
What techniques did you learn to go through the trauma, the 9/11, the cancers? I mean, it's enough for one person to go through one of those things. All the things you've done, how have you overcome it? How have you transmuted pain into victory? How have you become a mentor and a speaker? How'd you go about doing that?
So I would say I had an opportunity to understand how the mind works. I lived in the bush of Jamaica, and I lived with a Sicilian guy that was savant. And we lived in a wood shack in the middle of the bush with no electricity and no water. And it's probably one of the most profound experiences of my life. And he showed me, he was proficient in like 9 different martial arts, but not the stuff that most people learn. Louis is savant. I just talked to him the other day. He was into like dim mak.
Not Bruce Lee kind of stuff.
No, he was into like this stuff where people think Bruce Lee passed away from, which would be dim mak. And it was like one of those things where I hope I explain it properly. It's kind of like when the lunar cycles in their face and you walk up to somebody and you tap them on the shoulder and 2 days later their kidney explodes. Like that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And I would be doing nunchucks and he'd be playing raga on his guitar. And we're in the middle of the bush, man. It's just little fires and stuff. And we were half mile away from the beach. So what we used to do every month was walk down to the beach and make huge piles of logs. And then when the full moon came out, we'd light them all. Okay. And we lived on it was like a cove. So if you backed up 3/4 of a mile, you just saw these huge fires. And we should just sit there and meditate and, yeah.
And what did that experience do for you moving forward?
It made me, I wanted to do it to see how much it could take mentally, because I still had so much pain because I'd gone through all of this stuff, man. And it was like after I came back from Hawaii, because I moved to Hawaii.
Right.
And had gotten married there. And when I came back to New Jersey, down to Jersey City, that's where I met Louis. I ended up getting divorced.
Right.
I'm laughing because like my heart is like.
With that experience in Jamaica, right? You allowed you to mentally handle or give you a method of handling all the things you went through.
Absolutely. Because I was Louis at the time for like 6 months, and it was every day was the same thing. I'd be spinning nunchucks and staffs, and he'd just be playing raga.
Right.
And we'd just be smoking a lot of ganja.
I hear you. Another thing that was very influential to you is you became a certified Les Brown Power Voice Summit speaker, right?
Yes.
How did that impact you and what you do today?
Again, that was like quite an awakening. That was in 2020. In 2020, I ended up having a surgery every month. And in the middle of the surgeries, having a procedure. So there's like 15, 20 procedures and surgeries that year. And
all related to the cancer?
All related to putting my body back, because my body was failing after my bilobectomy. And my bilobectomy was in 2017. Had a bilobectomy and a rigid and flexible bronchoscopy. And during one of those, I can't remember which one, they nicked the tumor. And that almost killed me because it started spewing all kinds of stuff into my system. However, I still had that collapsed lobe. So all the stuff that was spewing was going into the collapsed lobe like it was a cup. Wow. So there's a lot of like things I look at and I'm like, I should have been dead a really long time ago.
Well, there's a reason you're not.
Exactly.
You're saying during that period of time you learned about Les Brown and...
Well, I've always been online mentored, read his books, all of that stuff.
Okay.
And I used to write whenever I would share Les Brown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would always write, "It's me, Mr. Brown. I'm the one." And it was kind of like something that he had said to one of his mentors. So I found this thing online. And it was like, learn how to speak like a professional, whatever. I had already been speaking. I used to speak at convention centers on real estate.
Okay.
Owner financing. We know creators. We created one of the first online repositories of owner finance and lease purchase properties on the planet. And that was like in 2005 after the hurricanes. And at that time, in 2020, I was broke. Already went bankrupt from the medical stuff. And I was talking to my wife at the time, and she's like, "We'll figure it out." I mean, we were selling everything just to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Gold, silver, like everything that we had.
Right.
Just to keep my ass alive. And I had no money. And we're like, you know what, we'll figure it out. So I made my first payment. And I didn't know where the next payment was coming from.
Mm.
And I got an email. And it was from the guy that was running it with Les. And they heard my story, and they gave me a scholarship to the program. And that's where I'm getting goosebumps. That's where I came up with my story, and he helped me. You know, this is a guy that like I looked up to for so long, and now he's critiquing my life. And he's like, "Craig, listen, this is what you got to do. X, Y, and Z. You do this, your life will change forever. All you got to do is stay ahead of the chalk outline."
Okay. Interestingly put.
And this is somebody that's been dying from cancer for like 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Brown has had like stage 4 cancer forever.
Wow.
And I think his like vitamin regimen is like 10, 15, 20 grand a month. You know, and he's still alive. I think he's 80 years old now.
So you now speak about your story. And
he helped me craft my story.
And would you say that you've overcome your past, you're handling your past, you're sharing your past? How would you?
So what I talk about now is the quantum field.
Okay.
Okay, and how we tap into the human Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot to do with epigenetics with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Because what I was doing when I was battling all of this stuff for 3 years before COVID, I sat in my living room for like 6 years. Isolating myself, meditating, listening to tones and frequencies and all the stuff that we need to separate the emotions from past circumstances and events. So what I've been able to do is alchemize that. It's the reason why I could tell these stories without no emotions. Free-flowing. We call it free-flowing.
Interesting. I never heard it described that way, but it's very interesting. And you're also a mentor, right?
So, yeah, I've thousands.
Well, I want to hear about, but you said Les Brown said you got to do X, Y, Z. How do you go about mentoring people? What kind of people come to you? And how do you help people? Because you certainly are a guy that's overcome so much and have learned so much and are such value to people. So share a little bit about that.
First off, I tell everybody, listen, if a knucklehead from Jersey can do this, anybody can.
You're not a knucklehead.
No, but it's the Jersey sense of humor, right?
Okay, right.
So it's like when I first got online, right, years ago, I joined this thing, Facebook, 2009.
What's that? I never heard of
At that
Facebook.
time, no idea what it was.
Right. I'm kidding.
I was taking things and posting them because I thought I could save this stuff for later on. That I could, collect things and then review them later.
But you were sharing it with your friends.
I thought I was just sharing it to myself.
Okay.
And then one day somebody made a comment and I was like, oh, this is going to get really interesting.
Well, your words have meaning or affected someone positively or negatively, I would think.
Everybody's different, right?
Sure.
Everybody's got a different experience on his volcanic meatball. So people just like started making comments and stuff. And then I started mentoring people online. And my direct messages started blowing up. And this is all I was battling because this is 2009.
Right.
So haven't even started battling the cancer part. That started in 2012.
So your words touch people, and obviously they liked what you had to say because you
yes
speak.
And no.
Yes and no. Well, nobody can be liked by everybody, right?
Exactly. Well, I had to learn that because I used to take everything personal. Now I understand whatever somebody says something, excuse me, it's based off of their experience.
Right.
There's a lot of people that haven't experienced a lot of things. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and you can never take anything personal.
So what?
I don't know if you can see here.
Yes.
Those are all 2x3 cards.
Oh.
That are my suggestions and my ideas, and because I'm in all different projects, I have them all over these walls. I call this place my lab. It's a little spot in Merida, Mexico. I got a beautiful backyard and a built-in pool.
And you're putting your notes up on the wall.
Putting notes up on the walls and talking about somatic frequencies and real estate book over there, course program over there.
You've had a lot of different experience. So is there a type of person you mentor, or is it people that have gone through trauma, grief? Is it just people looking to help move forward in their life? I mean, who comes to you?
Man, you'd be surprised. There's nothing on my website. Okay. I'll tell you what kind of guy I am. There's nothing on my website where you can put a Visa or MasterCard.
Okay.
I learned that trick a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't just do the ordinary person. And the reason why is because I do everything for free. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Because here's the caveat to that. I'm not going to take somebody's money if it's not going to work for them. I can give you everything for free. I can talk about this all day long. 99% of the people ain't going to do anything with it. All right? It's the truth. It's the reality of life.
All right, but people are reaching out to you for your advice.
Well, that's exactly it.
And how do you quantify whether what you've said has meaning or successful? But there's a lot of people that are helping people and charging for it. So,
well, I do charge. Mm-hmm. So I have to interview 100 people.
Oh.
I might coach one.
Gotcha.
And you got to weed through. That's why I give everybody 15 minutes. People are like, that's a wasted time. Like, nah, man. You give everybody 15 minutes. You never know when it's a real estate deal, a business in the islands. You don't know about people.
Right.
Right? So my whole thing is I'll interview 100 and coach one or two.
And how do you choose?
I've already had 100.
How do you choose the person you want to coach?
I can feel it. I could just energetically feel it. There's certain. So 7% of what people say is verbal. 93 is the body language. Right. So I was. While I was battling this stuff in Atlanta, I was coaching kids at my 2 weekly meetings. So I rented an office, had all these kids coming in, young kids, all entrepreneurs, hungry.
Mm-hmm.
What I started to realize as an entrepreneur, if your mindset isn't right, you're going to have crappy projects. You're going to have crappy relationships. So what happened was people found out about what I was doing. And they were like, this guy's doing this for free. They were coming.
You were helping them in the 15 minutes, I'm sure.
The 15 minutes is something I've created later.
Okay.
We were doing 2 and 3 hour meetings.
Gotcha.
Right, on entrepreneurship. And I've helped create a bunch of millionaires. Right? As I was broke. Because I was trying to leave a legacy. Because at that time, I thought I was dying. So I made sure my daughter was coming with me to these meetings so she could see the real of what people go through.
Right.
Ended up helping traffic victims. And started accelerating on that. And then I got burnt out. It was so depressing.
You're talking about human trafficking?
Human trafficking, yeah. Yeah, Atlanta's one of the biggest spots.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Craig, what's your overall message you want to share with the audience out there? What's your...
My message is simple in its complexity.
Mm-hmm.
I have two questions. Why are we the only species on planet Earth that pays to live here? And if we're all so different, why don't anybody laugh or cry in a different language? My message is simple. You don't have time. People are creating all of these things in their head, but they're not executing on their ideas because they're emotionally attached to what mommy and daddy said to them 30 years ago.
Right.
So it's Joe Dispenza that said humans have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts that they had from the day before. So we're literally living in the past.
So take action is a method. Now. Because the old expression, life is short, is true. And
it's very short.
And do what you can and live your life to the fullest, right?
Become yourself. Not what society says you have to be.
Right.
People like, I have friends. They're like, dude, what are you doing in this little spot, man? You could be anywhere you want.
Right.
I was like, nah, man. I have to be uncomfortable where I'm at in order to be walking there into this amazing life. I came to Mexico because we can't be seen in a 9/11 community by doctors anymore because the program is garbage.
We're going to leave that.
Thousands.
Yeah. We could probably spend another whole podcast on that issue. No, it's okay. And the U.S. health system. I know you and I spoke about it.
No, the 9/11 system.
Yeah, okay.
The U.S. health system is something entirely different.
All right. Well, there's a reason you're in Mexico, but we'll share that another time. But so how do people get in touch with you if they want to contact you? Tell us where they can reach you. What you want to share?
I direct everybody to craigsotkovsky.com.
That's it.
They can leave me a message, and that's where people leave messages. And all my social media links and all of that are on there.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the podcast today. You certainly have had an interesting life, and maybe that's an understatement. You've gone through a tremendous amount of things in your life. You're very resilient. You have a nice way about you. I like the way you handle things. I like your positivity. I think you could help a lot of people. And I really appreciate you sharing the story with us today.
Thank you so much, Dan, for the opportunity.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you for listening or watching this episode. If you enjoyed our guest, please go to our website, awakeningsinreallife.com, where our guest shares a story different than their awakening. It's really very interesting. We also have bonus episodes where another individual tells their awakening story. Please also check out my book, Awakenings in Real Life, where I tell the story of my dad's awakening from his dementia and the message he sends that he still lives and appreciates life. It's available on Amazon and also tells other family stories. If you know of someone who wants to be a guest on the show and has an awakening, please email me at info@awakeningsinreallife.com. We're also available on social media. Please tune in to our next episode where we share another remarkable awakening story. Finally, I want to thank Jay Belsky of Flawed Media of Rockville Center, New York, who did such a great job recording this episode.